taking the time to bring my awareness inside, to focus inward, to center myself. Pretty important right now because I'm feeling pretty irritable and agitated otherwise. I'm at this point where I just want to be left alone. I keep thinking about how I can escape the world, escape society, escape the drama. It's like I'm willing to sacrifice everything. The idea of having relationships. Because honestly, that just seems so unlikely and unfeasible. Certainly no relationships that look like anything from the past. You know, commitment and selflessness, willing to be patient with other people and compassionate and self-sacrificing or compromising. That doesn't seem possible anymore. Everybody is so selfish in an egotistic, narcissistic way. Again, I have to accept that that might be true for myself as well. The thing in my favor, I believe, is that I'm willing to have conversations with people, get into the nitty-gritty. If there's no communication, there's no opportunity. And when people get their back up, then communication is destroyed, and then you can't go anywhere with that. Recently, for the first time in a very long time, this has not been my habit to end a connection with somebody. But where I'm at now is like, I don't have the patience for somebody that is emotionally constipated, is not willing to be vulnerable, or they get their back up too easy. They're so defensive. It's really I don't feel like there's many people that are emotionally resilient enough to have relationships with. They're too fragile. They're too insecure. Doesn't mean that you're, I don't expect somebody that's got it all figured out or is undamaged. Not at all. But at least be willing to talk about it and open up. There's no connection without that vulnerability and that openness. It's boggling because it's so normalized now. This infantilized state that so many people are in. It's just because they have this avoidance. This avoidance of honesty with themselves and with others. And there's this egoic artifice that's kind of filling in all the gaps for them, that gives them this kind of defensive entitlement. It's so complicated, it's so muddled, and people have all these erroneous bullshit narratives in their psyche. I blame movies and television primarily, and the blurring of reality with fiction. I believe this is on purpose, to mentally F with everybody. And if you don't have something, some kind of practice, some kind of discipline that's bringing you back to truth, to reality, well, the closest thing that we can connect with, then you're lost and you're a liability. You're a useful idiot. There's so many useful idiots, and who is it useful to? It's to the agents of chaos. It's the malicious, psychopathic agendas that are being foisted on humanity globally. And I think when I try and look at the big picture, it comes down to rapture and harvest. And that is meant to ripen the souls that are ready for graduation, for them to turn away from the world and to turn inward. But I hope that the people that are on the fence realize what they're enabling. I don't like hardening my heart against people. And I don't think that's the way. There is a necessity to clarify boundaries and to get, I want nothing to do with most people. I am extremely irritated right now, mostly by the entitlement of many women that I come across, smoking their cigarettes, sitting on their butt, telling other people what to do. The self-centeredness and the entitlement is wild. It's all the fat-ass government workers that are fully captured by these insane ideologies. And they don't see through it. They're fully captured. They behave like NPCs. I'm at the point where I'm willing to be rude, straight up, saying, no, don't talk to me. Don't ask me for anything. I'm not playing your game. I'm not obligated. You're not going to guilt trip me. And this toxicity that is a result of feminism and liberalism, I believe. I don't know, I haven't gone down the academic route with that, but I've listened to other people that make sense of it. And my own experience, my own childhood, my own growing up with a very passive man and a domineering woman, and not just one, but a bunch of domineering women, a bunch of passive men. And I see how that's just carried on with younger generations and extremely disenfranchised men just giving up because of the toxicity of so many women and a system that has become so liberal, which means it's lost its integrity. And that is a dead end. That is going to fail. It's failing right now. And all these soft people lacking integrity are going to realize too late what they've enabled. The orchestrators of this evil have been working on it for a long time, at least 100 years, setting up the conditions that exist now of our society, our governments, and our ideologies that are dominating Western culture, Western societies. And the trap is nearly complete. And it truly nauseates me how many people are blind to it, are just rolling over. It's because they're weak. They're mentally and emotionally and physically often weak and lazy. It's a bit of chicken and egg, where people have not taken responsibility for their own consciousness, for their own life, and therefore have been susceptible to manipulation, which makes them even more lazy and vulnerable and pathetic. And it means that the pendulum is going to have to swing again the other way, to a stoicism, to a brutality. I don't intend to be in that place, because I'm dropping out of it. I've never been fully part of it anyways. But there's going to be more and more dropping out, whether it be people dying just because they in one way or another take their own life, the number of men that stop participating, and when the men stop participating, everything goes, because it's men who build and maintain the infrastructure. I think maybe the hope with robotics and artificial intelligence is that, men can be replaced. And the world won't need men anymore. What a disaster that'll be. Because men find their value in their integrity. This is what ennobles men, is being of service, is being a hero. I believe women are much more selfish in general. Because for them, it's all about taking into themselves and then nurturing what is theirs. Baby, home, husband, whatever. Whereas, and sure, men can be like that too, even more selfish in just their own self. But I think that's not when men are happy. Men want to be heroes. Men want to sacrifice themselves. For something worth sacrificing for. Of course, this is a generalization. I can speak specifically about my life, and it's been very much this. It's been my own father who gave up. He didn't believe in anything. He didn't teach me anything of value. He just wanted to escape, and he used alcohol to do that. And he was avoidant. And my mother tried to be both parents. She definitely wanted to be the boss, the authority, but was completely undependable emotionally. Couldn't deal with her own emotions, couldn't accept mine, shamed her own emotions and shamed mine. Couldn't talk about a lot of things. And so many of the women that I've come across in my life have been like that. Micromanaging, narcissistic, bitter, controlling. And so many men who are avoidant. They don't believe anything. They're busy either drinking, doing drugs, playing video games. They've lost their purpose. And myself as a gay man, I have to wonder, what's my purpose? It's not about a family or children. And the hell if I'm going to sacrifice myself for women that think I'm there to serve them. Society has failed me completely. My family has failed me completely. I believe, as would have happened in another time, me being the firstborn son, at an early age, I should have been taking on more and more responsibility of the family home and property and financial resources. But there's no way that my mom would allow any of that. She had to micromanage everything. She wouldn't let her own husband make decisions. Never mind her son. She essentially responded with, how dare I tell her or suggest how to do anything? That I should just get my own house and have my own separate life. But she still wanted the emotional attachments and the ability to tell me what I should do about certain things. I mean, to this day, I'm very confused about what her expectations are. I mean, I've cut my family out completely because they only cause me suffering. They only cause me pain. Did not treat me well. Of course, they'd never recognize that. They'd never recognize any of my feedback, any of my sharing of my emotions about things. In fact, they suggested that I had mental illness and tried to treat that and fix that since I was very young. I'm the problem. And again, I see this so often with women. When there's somebody that's challenging them or questioning them, there's all this manipulation, there's all this gaslighting, there's all this toxicity. And so it's like, you know what, I don't need this. You want my help? You want me to participate and have me listen and have me care and all this stuff, but don't be willing to receive any feedback or have any expectations coming from this side. Forget it. Fend for yourself. And to me, the gross thing about being gay is nowadays, so many gay men are like this too. All this emotional toxicity and projection, this self-infantilization, this helplessness, this fragility. That's not what I'm attracted to. I'm attracted to men because I'm attracted to strength and capability, assertiveness, confidence, not parasitism, not codependence. It's pretty depressing, the current state of affairs. But I'm past the paralysis stage of depression, which has come and gone through my life, where I just felt so exasperated because I had zero support. And I looked at the narrative that is supposedly the support, supposedly the evolving culture, and saw the fraudulence of it, the utter bullshit. The greenwashing, the rainbow washing, the psychological operation that so many fall for. And sadly, it feeds into this contempt that I have for people. And I have that contempt because of years of poor treatment. Years of seeing people that are so dysfunctional. And ending up just not liking people. Because they hurt me and then turned it around and said that I deserve it. I'm the cause. Or the people who supposedly care about me saying those kind of things. Well, what did you do to deserve it? This is a message that my mom gave me pretty regularly. I would open up and express my hurt and my pain, and she would turn it around and say, bite the bullet, toughen up. What did you do to deserve it? And because I being a child who by default trusts their parent, I took that to heart. I believed that message. Oh, there's something I'm doing wrong. I deserve this cruelty. And it severely undermined my self-esteem. And it set me up for further abuse. And I took on people's garbage. I didn't stand up for myself. I internalized a lot of negative messages. And I thought to myself, I just need to be better. I need to fix myself. And that is the positive that I've taken from it. But what that's done is just completely isolated me. And I've worked on self-improvement. But for what? I'm at this place of for what? I have a lot of wisdom and insight and resource. Because I don't have a degree behind my name, I have no platform. I have no way of providing that. I'm not recognized by some medical authority. And the world is saturated with charlatans now. There's so many people selling all sorts of things that sound good. The Arcturians are coming to save us. This crystal will fix all your problems. The earth is flat. Somebody recently just pretty much unfriended me because they didn't agree with their flat earth theory. I didn't say that it's... I didn't say absolutely I know anything, but I challenged their statements. They got their back up about it. This is a grown man older than me that is certain that the earth can't be round, that the flat earth stuff is real. And when I didn't just lap that up, then now I'm closed-minded or something. I'm not even sure. But this person got, emotionally upset because I didn't readily agree with them. You can get upset, but I mean, as I say, this person has been unplugging from the social channels, connections, leaving channels that we had of connection, shutting down, closing off. Somebody who is, for the very most part, aligned with them. And as I say, I can relate to the withdrawing, the saying, fuck it. But I'm not giving to this fellow what I'm talking about as far as what I don't like in the world. I'm not gaslighting him. I'm not trying to emotionally manipulate him. I'm not even saying that he's wrong. I don't have any expectations of him that he do anything for me. In fact, I've offered to do things for him. I have tried to build relationships with people because I know it's important. I know it's important, but it's like the only way, or the way that people are comfortable with would be is if I was completely subservient, completely just like have no demands or expectations. I don't even mean demands. I just mean this is what I would prefer. This is what I'm bringing to the table. We can negotiate, respond in some way. Meet me halfway. You can be intense about it, but just own that intensity as I try to do. I'm passionate about things. I'm intense about things. There's all this fuckery, all this confusion that really pisses me off. It pisses me off we've gotten to this place where the average person is so messed up that we can't even come together to be able to oppose the evil of the world. They've been that effective that we can't even organize. We can't even come together on a grassroots level to come up with solutions. And I'm very dismayed about this. It saddens me. The degree of loneliness that I feel is, and it's not a new thing. It's been going on for probably, I don't know, it feels like my whole life. Because even in the minority community that supposedly I'm part of, being gay, which is, there's no community at all. There's some capitalization and exploitation of people that have this thing in common where they like to have sex with people that are the same sex as them. But what's the other commonality? I don't have any. It seems I don't feel any commonality with the other gay men that I come across. I don't see most of them as being very masculine. They're not strong. They don't have integrity. Their minds have been co-opted by Hollywood and the media. They live for their performativity, their appearance and their style and ego, ego, ego. And as I said before, I believe that weakness of self-hatred, and that's what it is. This was identified years ago. Louise Hay talks about it as the cause of HIV. Internalized homophobia. That may not even be the right word for it. Whatever is going on there, which it would be nice if we could be honest instead of so fragile and we could actually dig into what's going on. For me, I don't want to be around women. I'm not attracted to women who are going to infantilize me. That's why I'm gay, because I'm attracted to, I'm attracted to what I want to be, which is, and that I think is, there's an interesting thing around, if we look at it from a Jungian lens of anima and animus, and heterosexuality is being attracted to that inner opposite. And I believe that maybe the First Nations American concept of two-spirit could be accurate for gay people, where there actually is a duplication of anima and animus. And there's some hermaphroditic kind of thing going on that is of a greater complexity. And I think that gay people have this capability of being a shamanic kind of force. There's an opportunity here, and that's exactly maybe why it's been demonized, why gay people have been targeted, because those powers that be, they do not want the shamanic, the shamanic force that gay people could represent, which would bring awareness and spirituality, grassroots awareness and consciousness and spirituality to the people. And so gay people have been targeted, and look how effective it's been. Now gay people are some of the most toxic, fucked up, psychologically manipulated people on the planet. I think it's just, I feel I have clarity about it, but who's going to receive it? It's like the fringe of the fringe of the fringe. I feel like the number of people that will actually understand what I'm talking about is the tiniest little fraction of people. And how am I even going to reach them and find them? Because the other people will actually attack me. If I talk to other gay people about the bullshit and the garbage about gender identity and lumping us in with all the other letters and all that stuff, that's politically incorrect. That's heresy. It's evil and wrong, and it's hateful. Okay. Bye. Live in your echo chamber. Live in your little toxic safe space. I'm not participating anymore. It feels like it's too late to wake people up. Going through the past 5 years showed how powerfully people have been psychologically operated on. how lacking in real insight and intelligence most people are. This is a conclusion that runs counter to my beliefs. But I have to be willing to modify my beliefs based on the data that I'm observing. I mean, my beliefs are conflicted and my observations are conflicted. You know, if I'm receiving inner guidance that love and compassion and acceptance are the way, and the books that I've read of the spiritual teachers and all this stuff which I have immersed myself in, that's validated my beliefs in goodness, and yet all my interactions with people show me how parasitic and how immature, how self-serving and unconscious most people are. It's what has defeated me, has really undermined my productivity, my compassion, my everything that as a capable man I want to do, which is build and create and support and encourage and lift up. The work and the goodness that I could have done in this world if I wasn't undermined by the toxic feminine, and I was encouraged by strong men, I could have contributed immensely. There's probably nothing that I couldn't have done. But instead, I've spent a lot of my life feeling depressed, feeling defeated, feeling hopeless. Like that everything was driving me to isolate and to escape. And that's where I am now. It's just gotten more extreme. It's just gotten more of the same. And all I can conclude from it is that's the goal. Is it's all been driving me to this place of resignation. That this world makes no sense. And that my only salvation is retreating from it. Everybody's failed me. My grandparents failed me. My parents failed me. My extended family failed me. My culture failed me. My education system failed me. Government failed me. There's no culture. There's no culture to support me in being of service, finding my place and contributing. The culture that I grew up in said, consume, be distracted, and be a slave. Be a worker bee that is motivated by the weekend in shopping, buying stuff, watching TV and movies. Sorry, it's just never appealed. It's never had much appeal. Even that disenfranchisement was capitalized on during my adolescence. In the 80s and the early 90s, there was Hollywood movies about it. That feeling of, what's the point, disenfranchisement? Because they're all, those elite people, organizations, are one step ahead of us. They're steering the narrative. They know about the tendency to be disaffected as youth. It's natural to be an adolescent and look at the world and think, how do I fit into it? And I want to push the boundaries a bit. But that has been exploited. That has been made into this thing that has destabilized us. Young people fed drugs and toxic ideas. I think that I'm a perfect example of it. Gen X was probably one of the most heavily targeted in this regard to really shift the culture into a destabilized state. But because Gen X existed on the borderland of that, of I think the most extreme changes, we're maybe one of the last generations to really understand it and have some resistance, have a bigger picture view of it. I don't know. I don't know what to do other than just take care of myself. Try and ride the waves of change and navigate the storms. But there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of distrust. It really fucking infuriates me. That people are confused about who the real enemy is. Just because I hold up a mirror and challenge you, it doesn't make me the enemy. The enemy is the soft sell. The enemy is the coddling. I know that most of the work has to happen inside of me. And that's what I'm trying to do even with this. This is mostly for me. In that I want to be a better person. That's motivated me for years. Because I set my compass on the people that I admire, that I look up to. And there's a ton. History has created a lot of, records of noble people, but it's also easy to see them after the fact, maybe in this idealized light. Day-to-day life is much more trickier, and our world is especially complex now. I think it's getting to this extreme point where it's so complex that it's unfeasible, it's unmanageable. And as we know from the study of Taoism, that extremes will flip to the opposite. And that's what I'm anticipating, is that all this extreme coddling, where you don't have to do anything and the government will just give you a universal basic income as long as you give away all of your power and autonomy, is going to flip to where there's nothing. And unless you are able to be empowered and strong, then you're going to die. You either give away all of your power and just be some automaton in a pod with feeding tubes plugged into the matrix, or you're out in the cold fighting for survival. I would rather be out in the cold fighting for survival, honestly. That's where I'm at. There may be a third option. Somewhere closer to balance, somewhere closer to the middle path. That's what I pray for.